Hi, this is True Colors, and today we will thoroughly and proactively learn and inculcate about tone and voice, their uses, their comparison, and their definition with examples. It is my second lecture. In my previous lecture, that was lecture 1 about 8 types of writings. Here, writings not only about paragraph writing, essay writing, precise writing, application writing, or letter writing, but also about email writing, complaint writing, editorial writing, resume writing, blog writing, article writing, story writing, or comment writing, or any social media post writing or content writing or soap writing, that is also called standard operating procedure writing. So we have already discussed about 8 types of essays, that are expository essay, analytical essay, argumentative essay, reflective essay, descriptive essay, compare and contrast essay, cause and effect essay, critical analysis essay. And we have also discussed about what is subjective analysis and what is objective analysis, their definition, their comparison, and their uses with examples. So please do watch that particular lecture, a blend of both Hindi and English language, and feel free to improve your multidimensional English descriptive writing skills. In today's lecture of tone and voice, we will learn and we will see the definition, the comparison, and the uses with examples about what is tone and what is voice. So let's get started. See, you can write in many different genres or tones, such as authoritative tone, questioning tone, or argumentative tone. But which one should you use? And how do these affect how your readers, your audience, or your examiner feel? So let's dive in. So we will firstly talk about voice. What is voice? The voice is the ability to speak, express, communicate, represent, or sing in verbal or oral form. Again, reiterating, voice is the ability to speak, express, communicate, represent, or sing in verbal or oral form. We utter voice with vibrating vocal cords, that is also called sound. So we can simply say voice is sound. Voice is a medium of expression. Here expressions means author's ideas, opinions, desires, or suggestions. Voice is a resonance of the vocal tract, or we can say, whenever I say or I talk about voice, it simply means it is a medium of expression. Here medium means spokesperson, means interpreter, representative, agency between tone and the listener, or uh, examiner, or reader, or audience. So we can simply say that voice is a mean or medium or agency by which something is expressed or communicated. It reflects your personality, your value, and your identity. Here, your means authors, or uh, authors, or it reflects your personality, your value, your identity through written or spoken words. Voice is always static. It also represents the personality behind your writing. Again, reiterating, voice is static, voice is sound. It always represents the personality behind your writing, characteristics that stay constants. The characteristics of a voice is it stays constant because it is static across all communication and doesn't change based on context. So voice is static and it doesn't change based on context. Then secondly, we will talk about sound tone. Here tone means tone is the quality of person's voice. Tone is the quality of person's voice. Tone is a pitch. Here see the difference about tone and voice. Voice equals to sound and tone equals to pitch. Okay, so again reiterating, the tone always represents the quality of person's voice. Tone is a pitch or change in pitch of the voice that serves to distinguish words in tonal languages. Tone always creates the general atmosphere of a place or a situation and the effect that it has on people. Tone varies the pitch of one's speech, act, or piece of writing. So it is also called tone of voice. So we can simply say that tone is dynamic. Here we again compare between voice and tone. Voice is always static and it doesn't change based on context. But tone is dynamic. It is a subject of voice and it always shows or reveals author's attitude, presumptions, and intent. Here we can again compare tone and voice. Voice always represents your personality, your value, your identity. But tone is dynamic and always shows, reveals, or represents author's attitude, presuppositions, or intent. And tone give your voice depth. Tone can change based on context. That is why it is called dynamic. So your tone changes based on who you are speaking to and the mood of the conversation. Depending on the context, your tone can be, for example, excited, dismayed, or apologetic. But when we talk about voice, voice identifies you by the way you sound when you talk and the kinds of word you use. Unless you are behaving like somebody else, your voice never changes. Tone is dynamic and voice is static. Tone equals to sound, tone equals to pitch and voice equals to sound. So let's sum up what is tone and what is voice. Tone always represents how you express yourself in the moment. Here you means author or writer or speaker. Okay, tone can change depending on context. For example, you might sound a little less enthusiastic when sharing bad news. Here voice equals to sound, tone equals to pitch, voice equals to sound, tone equals to pitch, voice equals to sound. So your voice always represents your underlying personality. It should not change in different contexts. So that is why it is always static. For example, you will always speak honestly even if it means sharing bad news. Okay. Here I made a diagram just to uh, precisely clarify uh, the voice and the tone. So we can say that tone equals to pitch, and tone is the subset of voice, and it always reveals authors or readers or writers or speakers attitude and intent. It is always dynamic based on context, quality, and types of author's feelings, mood, act, or piece of writing. Okay, again reiterating, tone equals to pitch. It can be high, it can be low, it can be aggressive, it can be frustrating, and tone is the subset of voice, and it always reveals authors, writers, or speakers attitude and intent. Tone is always dynamic based on context, quality, and types of authors, feelings, mood, act, or piece of writing. Then we will talk about voice in clockwise direction. Okay, what is voice? Voice equals to sound, and voice is a medium between tone and reader. Here reader means writer, speaker. Okay, again reiterating, voice equals to sound, and voice is a medium between tone and reader. It is always static. It means it doesn't change based on context. It always represents the ability to speak, sing, express, communicate, or represent in verbal or oral form via our vocal cords. Voice or sound always reflects author's personality, identity, and value behind his or her writing or spoken words. Okay, so we utter we utter voice with vibrating vocal cords, that is also called sound. Uh, if you are a Hindi medium aspirant or student or audience or listener, see the difference in Hindi. What is voice, what is sound, what is tone, and what is which. And please try to understand, voice equals to sound and tone equals to pitch. The all four meaning, the meaning of all the four, the voice, sound, tone, and pitch. Voice means आवाज or वाणी, sound means ध्वनि, that is also called noise or शोर. Tone means सुर और लहजा in Hindi, and pitch means आवाज का उतार चढ़ाव, or we can call it स्वरमान. Okay, so now we will discuss about the types of tones. Here the total types of tones are 155. Okay, we will discuss about 155 of tones. Why we will discuss, and why we need to learn about tonal language? Because you can write in many different genre and tones, such as authoritative, questioning, or argumentative. But which one should you use, and how do these affect how your readers or examiner or audience feel? Okay, let's dive in. The tone of writing can create an overall impression that influences how people feel about what they read, whether positively or negatively. Again, reiterating, the tone of writing can create an overall impression that influences how people feel about what they read, whatever positively or negatively. So far we have discussed about the definition of tone and voice, their comparison, and their uses. Now we will talk about what is tone of writing. The tone of writing always represents an author's attitude or intent. The tone is the essence of voice. The tone is the essence of voice, which is how a writer conveys their thoughts to the reader, examiner, listener, or their audience. You can identify a writer's tone through specific words, phrases, and sentence structure. You can identify a writer's tone through specific words, phrases, and sentence structure. Tone can also reveal Tone can also reveal how certain parts of a written piece are meant to be interpreted by readers. For example, you could use irony or sarcasm when describing something unpleasant to demonstrate how terrible it was. I am again reading. Tone can also reveal how certain parts of a written piece are meant to be interpreted by readers. For example, you could use irony or sarcasm when describing something unpleasant to demonstrate how terrible it was. What is the importance and purpose of tone of writing? What is the importance and purpose of tone of writing? When writing, you should consider what you want your audience to feel. Okay? When writing, you should consider what you want your audience or your examiner or your listeners to feel. Tone doesn't just convey facts and information. Tone doesn't just convey facts and information. It aims to elicit emotions from your reader through persuasion. It also aims to elicit emotions from your reader, your examiner, your audience through persuasion. You have to be careful in choosing which kind of emotion or persuasive element works best for you. Okay, you have to be careful in choosing which kind of emotion or persuasive element works best for you and what type of relationship it creates with your readership or your viewership or your audience or your examiner. Tone should be used as an emotional motivator. Okay, tone should be used as an emotional motivator so the reader continues to read further and sorry so the reader continues to read further and share your content with others. So now we are going to discuss about all 155 tones in this single lecture. Okay. The first one is absurd tone. What is absurd tone and what it represents and how we use it? Okay, the absurdity of a sentence, it always represents the absurdity of a sentence that can help express frustration, absurdity equals to frustration in an otherwise serious situation by using humor. This could be useful when you are trying to explain your feelings but you are struggling to find words. Okay, this could be useful when you are trying to explain your feelings but you are struggling to find words or scarcity of words. So let's see the examples. It is just incredible how much money we made today. I hope we broke even. I hope we broke even. And the second example is, wow, look at all these hungry mosquitoes hovering around me. So again, I am going to reiterate the first type of tone, that is called absurd tone. It always shows the absurdity of a sentence that can help express frustration in an otherwise serious situation by using humor. This could be useful when you are trying to explain your feelings but you are struggling to find words or scarcity of words. The second one is accusatory tone or allegatory tone. It is related to allegation or accusation. An accusatory tone is used to express anger or irritation. An accusatory tone is used to express anger or irritation. This type of writing often appears in an article when someone feels wronged by someone else. This type of writing often appears in an article when someone feels wronged by someone else. That is why it is called accusatory tone or allegatory tone, which is based on allegations and not based on facts. Examples: if you are too lazy to do your job properly, then I don't want you working for me anymore. The second example is, you are not nearly as important as you think you are. The third type of tone is Acerbic tone. An acerbic tone is often used when the writer feels angry towards somebody or something. Again, reiterating, an acerbic tone is often used when the writer feels anger towards somebody or something. Maybe even about things that aren't very serious. Acerbic writing tends to use sarcasm, irony, bitterness, cynicism, and scornfulness. Okay, acerbic writing tends to use sarcasm, irony, bitterness, cynicism, and scornfulness. Examples are, you are the only thing holding me back. You are the only thing holding me back. It is a kind of sarcasm. Second one is, I can't believe that wouldn't refund my $5. I can't believe that that would not refund my $5. The fourth type of tone is admiring tone. As its name suggests, an admiring tone often appears in writing when people are expressing their admiration, respect, or love for something or someone. The admiring tone represents or displays confidence and enthusiasm. It always displays confidence and enthusiasm. For example, I love your work. This beautiful dress looks amazing on you. Then next one is aggressive tone. It always shows aggression. An aggressive tone is often used in argument or confrontation. Confrontation means to prove yourself innocent or to prove yourself correct. So, an aggressive tone is often used in an argument or confrontation. It can be found in sentences that express anger, frustration, and other negative emotions. It can be found in sentences that express anger, frustration, and other negative emotions. Examples: you better tell your boss where you are going next time. You better tell your boss where you are going next time. Just stay away from me. Okay? It's a kind of aggression. Next one is aggrieved tone. Aggrieved tone. An aggrieved tone can be defined as showing bitterness, anger, resentment, or disappointment. The tone is typically harsh. We can also call this harsh tone or aggrieved tone. Again, reiterating, an aggrieved tone can be defined as showing bitterness, anger, envy, resentment, or disappointment and hopelessness. The tone is typically harsh. For example, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry you feel that way. I regret to say that I'm not going anywhere. Next one is altruistic tone. Altruistic tone, it emphasizes or it represents the struggles of another individual or group. Altruistic tone emphasizes the struggles of another individual or group. An altruistic tone shows empathy and understanding for others without making them feel bad about themselves. Okay? Without making them feel bad about themselves. Example: you are not alone. Thousands of others have gone through the same struggle as you. Second one is I struggled after my divorce, but now I am happier than ever before. You will get there too. I am here for you. Next type is ambivalent tone. What is ambivalent tone? An ambivalent tone appears in writing when people are expressing their lack of enthusiasm. Ambivalent tone always express lack of enthusiasm or eagerness. This type of sentence typically has a negative connotation. This type of sentence negatively has a negative connotations. Examples: I don't know if I can make it to dinner tonight. I don't know if I can make it to dinner tonight. I don't have much to say about him. Next one is amused tone. Amused tone. An amused tone is used in writing when the writer or when the speaker or when the speaker thinks something is humorous. An amused tone is used in writing when the writer thinks something is humorous. The tone may be sympathetic or mocking. The tone may be sympathetic or mocking, but it's usually playful, not very serious. Okay, it's usually playful and not very serious. Examples: I know how you feel about homework. Let's just laugh at this together. Next type is angry tone. An angry tone is typically used when the writer wants to convey a sense of frustration or outrage. Angry tone is typically used when the writer wants to convey a sense of frustration or outrage. Angry tone can take different forms such as passive aggressive, defensive, or sarcastic. Examples: I am so mad right now. I am so mad right now. You need more than just luck. That won't help you win this competition. Next one is animated tone. What is animated tone? An animated tone expresses the writer's excitement for something. An animated tone expresses the writer's excitement for something. It could be excited about anything like someone they love or a sports team winning. Example: did you see that dunk? Did you see that dunk? I can't believe it's been 10 years since we started dating. I can't believe it's been 10 years since we started dating. Next one is apathetic tone. Apathetic tone. An apathetic tone is typically used when the writer feels unmotivated to do something. An apathetic tone is typically used when the writer feels unmotivated or demotivated to do something. It can be seen in someone who doesn't care what's happening to someone else or has given up on their own efforts. Apathetic tone means no feelings, no sympathy, no empathy. Example: I guess you are out of luck today. Or I tried my best but I can't do anything for you. Then 13th number tone is apologetic tone. Apologetic tone. An apologetic tone usually appears when the writer feels regret or embarrassment about something they have done. Again, reiterating, an apologetic tone usually appears when the writer feels regret or embarrassment about something they have done. It's genuine and sincere and usually spans multiple sentences. It usually genuine and sincere and usually spans multiple sentences. For example, I am sorry if I offended you with my choice of words. I didn't mean anything bad at all. I am really sorry about this. Then next one is Ardent Tone. Ardent Tone. An ardent tone is typically used when people are expressing their strong feelings towards something or someone. An ardent tone is typically used when people are expressing their strong feelings towards something or someone. The tone often comes across as passionate or emotional with a positive connotation. The tone often comes across as passionate and emotional with a positive connotation. Examples: I really think the party is on the right track. I really think the party is on the right track. You are not guilty until proven guilty. Next one is arrogant tone. Arrogant tone. An arrogant tone typically indicates the writer feels superior to other people. An arrogant tone typically indicates the writer feels superior to other people. It often displays condensation, condescension, and dismissal of others, and it's critical and belittling towards the reader. It is critical and belittling towards the reader. Examples: I'm not enjoying myself tonight because you are here. I'm not enjoying myself tonight because you are here. You probably couldn't even find the way home from your own driveway. Next one is assertive tone. An assertive tone is usually used in writing when the writer is trying to make a strong point. An assertive tone is usually used in writing when the writer is trying to make a strong point. An assertive tone can be seen as bossy or demanding. An assertive tone can be seen as bossy or demanding, but it also means that author has confidence in their opinion. But it also means that author has confidence in their opinion. Examples: we need to book soon if we want this place for our wedding ceremony. We need to book soon if we want this place for our wedding ceremony. I know I will never wear those shoes again. Our next type is Awestruck Tone or surprising tone or jaw-dropping tone. An Awestruck tone is usually used when the writer is describing something that impresses them. Okay, an Awestruck tone is usually used when the writer or when the speaker is describing something that impresses them. An Awestruck tone can be blissfully romantic. Awestruck writing speaks more to emotions than logic. Awestruck writing speaks more to emotions than logic. Examples: the sky was absolutely beautiful. The sky was absolutely beautiful. I am so amazed by his singing. Next one is belligerent tone. Belligerent tone. A belligerent tone is typically used when a writer wants to express anger or irritation. When a writer wants to express anger or irritation, we use belligerent tone. This type of tone is often aggressive and can be frightening or intimidating. This type of tone is often aggressive and can be frightening or intimidating. It helps the writer express their thoughts as if they were screaming at somebody else. It helps the writer express their thoughts as if the writers were screaming at somebody else. Okay. Examples. This blog article was so inaccurate. You are going down now. Then 19 type is benevolent tone. Benevolent tone. A benevolent tone is often used to express sentiments of love, affection, and appreciation. A benevolent tone is often used to express sentiments of love, affection, and appreciation. This type of tone, this type of writing focuses on helping or complimenting others. This type of writing focuses on helping or complimenting others. For example, I found this marvelous video for your about words. I found this marvelous video for your about words. You look wonderful today. Then next one is bitter tone. A bitter tone is typically used when somebody has been hurt or let down. Their writer might resort to sarcasm or mocking the person that had wronged them. Again, reiterating, the bitter tone is typically used when somebody has been hurt or let down. The writer might resort to sarcasm or mocking the person that have wronged them. The tone is usually negative. Again, reiterating, a bitter tone is typically used when somebody has been hurt or let down. The writer might resort to sarcasm or mocking the person that had wronged them. The tone is usually negative. Examples. It was so excited to have dinner at my favorite restaurant, only for you to steal my seat. If he doesn't give me back what's mine, he will regret it. Then next one is Callous Tone. Callous writing tends to be cold, harsh, and without sympathy. Callous writing tends to be cold, harsh, and without sympathy. The tone can also shows aggression or anger. Callous sentences are usually negative in nature. Examples. That's disgusting. I hate this place. Then next one is Candid Tone. What is Candid Tone? It is typically used when the writer is speaking about something they are not completely sure about. Okay? A candid tone is typically used when the writer is speaking about something they are not completely sure about. A candid sentence has a non-judgmental or neutral stance, making the reader feel safe and accepted. A candid sentence has a non-judgmental or neutral stance, making the reader feel safe and accepted. For example, I know you have been feeling terrible lately, so how can I help you? I'm not even sure how that works. Are you? I'm not even sure how that works. Are you? Then next one is caustic tone. Then next is caustic tone. A caustic tone is negative and bitter. It usually appears when the writer has an issue with something or someone. A caustic tone can be very sharp in its delivery, even if it hurts someone's feelings. Even if it hurts someone's feelings. And it is very sharp in its delivery. For example, I knew the day would come when you have do something this stupid. Now I have to fire you. How dare you talk about my dog like that? Then 24th number tone is celebratory tone. A celebratory tone is typically used when somebody has accomplished something positive. A celebratory tone is typically used when somebody has accomplished something positive. Sometimes it can refer to a generally positive situation or event. For example, happy holidays! We have made some remarkable accomplishments this past year. Here is to more growth in the future. Chatty tone. A chatty tone is typically used when talking casually. A friendly casually a friendly. It's more about the relationship between two people than anything else. Again, reiterating, a chatty tone is typically used when talking casually and friendly. It's it is more about the relationship between the two people than anything else. Examples: Hey, how have you been? What are your thoughts on the new karaoke app you downloaded last week? Then next one is colloquial tone. A colloquial tone typically involves slang or informal language, or you can say derogatory language, or slight abusive language. Okay, a colloquial tone typically involves slang or informal language, or you can say informal friendly language. It can be found in day-to-day conversation, and it often has a casual friendly connotation. A colloquial tone is common in children's books. A colloquial tone is common in children's books. Examples: I'm totally gonna win. This sucks. I need to get out here. Then 27th number is comic tone. A comic voice or a comic tone is typically used in writing when the writer is trying to make somebody laugh or find humor in a situation. A comic voice is typically used in writing when the writer is trying to make somebody laugh or find humor in a situation. It helps the readers enjoy what they are reading, or it helps the examiner's audience enjoy what they are reading. Examples: I love you more than anything except for my shows. This movie was so bad that we all died laughing. Compassionate tone. Next one is compassionate tone. It is typically used when the writer feels deeply affected by someone else's situation. When the writer feels deeply affected by someone else's situation, sentences with a compassionate tone of voice make their point clear but also leave the reader or listener space to think and respond. Again, reiterating, a compassionate tone is typically used when the writer feels deeply affected by somebody or someone else's situation. Sentences with a compassionate tone of voice make their point clear, but also leave the reader or listener space to think and respond. Example: I'm sorry you are feeling down. It must be hard being away from your family during Thanksgiving. Then next one is complex tone. What is complex tone? It is typically used when the writer wants to convey more than one message. This tone may include multiple meanings that are not always apparent or that are not always clear, even after careful reading. Again, reiterating or again reading, a complex tone is typically used when the writer or when the author wants to convey more than one message. This tone may include multiple meanings that are not always apparent or that are always not clear, even after careful reading. It usually requires analyzing whole paragraphs to understand the ideas. Examples: it was an interesting read for anyone who enjoys good references to quality literature, but I personally found that previous knowledge of the philosophy and ancient history mentioned throughout the novel was required. Then, next example: Norman had just left his car at home because he knew he would need his bike later. He was about to make an important trip that nobody else knew about. Then next one is complaint tone. A complaint tone is typically found in writing when somebody or someone is following recommendations or orders. When somebody or someone is following recommendations or orders. The tone usually, sorry, it is pronunciate compliant tone. Compliant. Okay. A compliant tone is typically found in writing when someone is following recommendations or orders. The tone usually sounds respectful. Sentences with a compliant tone usually connote a relationship with authority and describe situations where explicit or implicit rules are followed. Examples: I'll make sure to bring my ID next time. We will stay off your property. Then next one is concern tone. When people express concern, the tone usually conveys and an air of empathy. Here conveys means gives. When people express concern, the tone usually gives an air of empathy. This can be seen in writing as a low-key way to express emotions and thoughts about something worrying or troublesome. Again, reiterating, what is concern tone? When people express concern, the tone usually gives an air of empathy. This can be seen in writing as a low key way to express emotions and thoughts about something worrying or troublesome. Examples: I hope everything is okay over there. Were things not going well? Then next one is conciliatory tone. What is conciliatory tone? It is typically used when the writer is trying to improve the state of a conflict by making somebody feel better. A conciliatory tone is typically used when the writer is trying to improve the state of a conflict by making somebody feel better. A conciliatory tone, while not always positive, a conciliatory tone, while not always positive, considers that people have different opinions on a certain subject. The author or the writer tries their best to make sure that both parties' voices are understood. Both parties' voices are understood. Examples: I should not have shouted at you last night. Let me explain what happened. I think that I was ultimately the cause of that disagreement. Then next one is condescending tone. Condescending tone. A condescending tone is only used in writing when the writer has a superior position over the audience or as a joke. When the writer has a superior position over the audience or over the examiner or over the reader as a joke. The tone can be snobbish or rude. The tone can be snobbish or rude, but might be used to tease somebody something they might not know already, but should. Examples: you have been playing this game for too long without any real knowledge about strategy. I will show you how it should really be played. This will be a difficult task for you to master, but I will help you buckle down and improve. Then 34th number tone is confused tone. A confused tone is typically used when the writer is unsure about something or having a hard time understanding. This may also be used to express distress about something with no clear path towards. With no clear path towards. Again reading, a confused tone is typically used when the writer is unsure about something or having a hard time understanding. This may also be used to express distress about something with no clear path forward. Examples: I'm really not sure how this works. Can you help me? What did he say about me? Then next is contemptuous tone. Contemptuous tone. A contemptuous tone is typically used when the writer is expressing their distaste, scorn, or dislike. It is typically used when the writer is expressing their distaste, scorn, or dislike. When somebody uses this tone, they often want to belittle, ridicule, and humiliate the subject in question. When somebody uses this tone, they often want to belittle, ridicule, and humiliate the subject in question. Examples: I don't know why you think your opinion matters so much to me anyway. Did you even look at these papers? They are terrible. Then next one is critical tone. A critical tone can be a way of fearing feedback for improvement. A critical tone can be a way of fearing feedback for improvement. Sentences with a critical tone may also be paired with positive or encouraging statement. Sentences with a critical tone may also be paired with positive or encouraging statements. Examples: you are sleeping with this project. You are sleeping with this project. You need to keep working just as hard as you have been until now. Then 37th number tone is cruel tone. A cruel tone conveys or a cruel tone gives the hope that harm or violence comes upon somebody. Then that harm or violence comes upon somebody. It is often utilized as a storytelling tool. It is often utilized as a storytelling tool. A cruel tone often targets the audience's emotions or readers' emotions or examiner's emotions. It means a cruel tone often targets the audience's emotions or listeners' emotions. Examples: I hope you die in prison. You are not worth anything. You are not worth anything. Then next one is curious tone. A curious tone is typically used when expressing interest in something or someone that the writer has not experienced before. A curious tone is typically used when expressing interest in something or someone that the writer hasn't experienced before. Examples: what's that animal? What should I know about Italy? Then next one is cynical tone or cynical tone. A cynical tone is a negative sounding skeptical approach. A cynical tone is a negative sounding skeptical approach. A cynical tone can come across with sarcasm or an air of superiority, possibly mocking others who are trying hard but seem unable to succeed. Again, reiterating, a cynical tone is negative sounding, skeptical approach. A cynical tone can come across with sarcasm or an air of superiority, possibly mocking others who are trying hard but seem unable to succeed. Examples: we would never get any customers if we took that approach to our business today. People are so lazy. Next, defensive tone. Next, defensive tone. A defensive tone is typically seen in writing when the writer feels threatened. A defensive tone is typically seen in writing when the writer feels threatened or intimidating. A defensive tone can be used for any situation where fear of criticism or confrontation is present. Where fear of criticism or confrontation is present. Examples: what do you mean by not good enough? You are just jealous. Next, defiant tone. Defiant tone. A defiant tone can be heard when a writer is trying to challenge or debate something. When a writer is trying to challenge or debate something. The tone itself may not show hostility towards an opponent. The tone itself may not show hostility toward an opponent. It more often comes from feeling frustrated with an idea that is being upheld by others without question or without questioning. Again, reading: what is a defined tone? A defined tone can be heard when a writer is trying to challenge or debate something. The tone itself may not show hostility toward an opponent. It more often comes from feeling frustrated with an idea that is being upheld by others without questioning. Examples: I think the public is wrong on this one. I'm going to wear my hair like this whether you like it or not. Then 42nd number tone is demanding tone. What is demanding tone? It is typically used when the writer is trying to make somebody feel bad. When the writer is trying to make somebody feel bad about a difficult experience. It might aim to manipulate the audience into doing something, whether complying with demands or changing their opinion. Again, reading: what is demanding tone? A demanding tone is typically used when the writer is trying to make somebody feel bad about difficult experience. It might aim to manipulate the audience into doing something, whether complying with demands or changing their opinion. Examples: you are such an idiot. That's ridiculous. Then next one is depressing tone. A depressing tone is typically used when the writer needs to emphasize a negative point. A depressing tone conveys or gives sadness or pain. Examples: I can't bear his absence anymore. His behavior was so cruel, it broke my heart. Then next one is derisive tone. What is derisive tone? It is typically used when the writer is trying to mock somebody about something they feel. What a derisive tone is typically used when the writer is trying to mock somebody about something they feel. A derisive tone may insult or dehumanize the subject but may also be used as comedy. Examples: did you get detached by your boyfriend? How pathetic. The girl chose her over me on the team. Typical. Then 45th numbered is detached tone. A detached tone is used when the writer feels distant from a situation. When the writer feels distant from a situation. The tone can be expressive or dry. The tone can be expressive or dry. Detached writing often takes on an impersonal voice. Detached writing often takes on an impersonal voice. Examples: she had been crying for hours now and just couldn't feel anything anymore. It's time to go home now because my work here is complete and I have no idea how long this place will exist once I'm gone. Then next one is dignified tone. A dignified tone is typically used when the writer wants to convey importance, seriousness, or value. A dignified tone is typically used when the writer wants to convey importance, seriousness, or value. This type of writing style tends to have an air that radiates authority without sounding intimidating or demanding. Again, reading: a dignified tone is typically used when the writer wants to convey importance, seriousness, or value. This type of writing style tends to have an air that radiates authority without sounding intimidating or demanding. Examples: you are needed on the team right now. You are needed on the team right now more than ever before. I think my work has made some heads turn lately. Then next one is disappointed tone. A disappointed tone is typically used when something was not received as wanted. When something was not received as wanted. This tone reflects the writer's disappointment over a missed opportunity. This tone reflects the writer's disappointment over a missed opportunity. Examples: I'm sorry you couldn't attend our meeting today. It would have been great if you could have come. It would have been great if you could have come. When will my package arrive? It's already 4 days late. Then next one is disapproving tone. Disapproving tone. A disapproving tone is typically used when the writer is trying to make somebody feel bad about something they are doing. A disapproving tone is typically used when the writer is trying to make somebody feel bad about something they are doing. This writing style tends to focus on correcting the audience behavior. This writing style tends to focus on correcting the audience behavior, actions, or decisions, even if this hurts their feelings. For example, you had no right to leave your family like that. I'm sorry you are not happy with me, but this problem isn't going anywhere on its own. Then next one is disheartening tone. Disheartening tone is typically used when something has gone wrong and the writer wants to convey a sense of sadness or despair. Disheartening writing often focuses on pointing out consequences rather than solutions. Disheartening writing often focuses on pointing out consequences rather than solutions. Examples: I hope you don't get fired. The car was totaled in the accident. Next, disparaging tone. A disparaging tone can be used in a variety of circumstances, often when the writer is describing a scandal. A disparaging tone can be used in a variety of circumstances, often when the writer is describing an scandal. Examples: we shouldn't trust them anymore. Why should we continue this conversation? What did they think would happen? That was obvious. Next, dispassionate tone. Dispassionate tone. A dispassionate tone is typically used when the writer wants to keep their opinions neutral. This type of writing doesn't take a side or express any personal feelings about something. Again, reading: a dispassionate tone is typically used when the writer wants to keep their opinions neutral. This type of writing doesn't take a side or express any personal feelings about something. Examples: let's focus on the facts. I don't know why you are so angry. 52nd, distressed tone. What is distressed tone? A distressed tone is a distressed tone in writing is often used when somebody or something has caused a problem. The writer uses a distressed tone to show the audience what has happened and how they feel about it. Examples: I'm so ashamed of how this company made me feel about my body while marketing these products. I am so ashamed of how this company made me feel about my body while marketing these products. My friend is always doing terrible things like stealing money from others. Docile tone. What is docile tone? A docile tone is used when a writer wants to express they are not angry. When a writer wants to express they are not angry. A docile tone often expresses this through humility and gentleness. A docile tone is used when a writer wants to express that they are not angry. A docile tone often expresses this through humility and gentleness. Examples: I don't really feel angry. I'm just tired today. You are right about that. Eager tone. What is an eager tone? An eager tone is one of pleasure and delight. It typically appears when writing about something in the future that the writer finds very enjoyable or exciting. Examples: again reading. Eager tone. What is eager tone? An eager tone is one of pleasure and delight. It typically appears when writing about something in the future that the writer finds very enjoyable or exciting. Examples: I cannot wait to see the movie. We had so much fun together last night. We have got to do it again something soon, sometime soon. Then next one is earnest tone. An earnest tone is typically used when somebody is being honest or sincere about something. An earnest tone shows the writer takes the situation more seriously than they normally would when joking. An earnest tone shows the writer takes the situation more seriously than they normally would when joking. Examples: you must miss her very much right now. It is an unfortunate situation, but I think it will be okay. Next, egotistical tone. What is egotistical tone? An egotistical tone is used when somebody is showing off their accomplishments or talking about themselves in an inflated manner. Okay, in an inflated manner or in an showy or pompous manner. The tone may be accomplished by bragging or elitism. The tone may be accomplished by bragging or elitism. Examples: it's my company now. I'm great at math. Empathetic tone. Again reiterating, a forceful tone is used when someone wants to get their point across and give an order. A forceful tone often has a negative connotation because it sounds very bossy and strong willed. Examples: you still have 2 hours left on your shift. You need to clean your room before you leave. Then next, formal tone. What is formal tone? A formal tone is typically used in writing when the writer has to be professional and respectful. A formal tone is often more polite than a commanding tone, but can still come across as condescending or snobbish. Examples: They should have called for help earlier. It would be great if you could bring some drink. Next, frank tone. A frank tone is typically used when a person doesn't care for the context of what's going on. Their writing sounds blunt and direct, sometimes rude, but its intent is helpful. Examples: you should rethink that. I don't know why you were drinking so much last night. Did something happen? Frustrated tone. A frustrated tone is typically used when the writer addresses something that has irked them, okay, and that has irritated them. Frustrated writing usually expresses feelings of anger or annoyance. Examples: I don't understand why she doesn't want me to come over and see her house. Why can't we just get one thing done without so much drama? Then 67th number tone is funny tone. A funny tone a funny tone in writing is typically used to make somebody laugh. It's usually a casual and light-hearted approach. Examples: I can't believe you ate all those donuts without stopping to breathe. He laughed so hard his stomach hurt. Gentle tone. A gentle tone is used to communicate difficult information in a softer manner. A gentle tone is used to communicate difficult information in a softer manner. The tone is never confrontational and may appear informal. The tone is never confrontational and may appear informal or friendly. Examples: I'm sorry I caused you pain. It's okay. We are all still friends here. Then, next, grim tone. What is grim tone? It is typically used when something bad has happened or a sad event is described. Sentences with a grim tone usually have an unhappy connotation and focuses on how the writer feels. Examples: I hope she doesn't stab me. That was a really unfortunate day. Then next one is hard tone. What is hard tone? A hard tone is often used in writing when the author extremely sorry, my thought is getting irritated frequently. So we will discuss 17 number tone and onwards in further uh, class or further lecture. Have a great time ahead.